Hello and welcome to Let's Link Up. My name is Nini Bello and I am your host, founder here at Lincoln Power. Today we are going to be talking with author, host, speaker, and world-renowned author. Yes, you heard it correct. World-renowned author, Orobosa Owie. Girl, you saw how
Yes,
I set that up for everybody?
I loved it. Sometimes I'm like, is that me? But thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Absolutely. I'm so excited, guys, and we have a couple of surprises about what she's doing here today.
Yes.
But before we get into all of
Yes.
that, I just want you to introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay.
Tell us who you are, where you're from,
Yes.
the little elevator pitch so that we can get to know you.
Okay. All right. Well, my name once again is Orobosa Owie. I like to say Dr. Orobosa Owie.
Excuse me.
I am an author, speaker, professor, really a woman of many titles. But I think what I'm most proud of is the woman I've become. I've spent years trying to walk in my most authentic self, and I think in the last 4 years, I've been able to hone in who I am and what is my genius and to operate in my purpose. And so when you gave me this opportunity to come, I was so excited. I was like, okay, Lincoln Power.
Yes.
But my journey, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to Brooklyn. Born to African-American mother and a Nigerian dad. And as you can imagine, having a Nigerian dad, my journey has definitely been eventful, right? I won't say my dad is the typical Nigerian dad. He has always been more soft with me, right? But he has also pushed me to come and be the woman that I am today. I lost my mom at a very early age, and that wasn't easy, but I think that also contributes to my story. It is the drive that you see in me and that led you to reach out to me. It's the driving force. But in my journey, I've always wanted to empower women because I know what it is to be in a dark space and really living in a place under the fear ceiling. And that's a concept that I created where many people think of the glass ceiling, right? Where you can feel it and you know that if you throw a stone, you may hear it. But the fear ceiling is very dark. It has no shape, it has no sound, and the only way you can get out is by really pushing yourself to get out. Many people can live in fear for all of their lives, die in fear, and I chose that wouldn't be my story. And many people think fear looks one way. They think, okay, I'm scared, and that contributes to my fear. But sometimes fear is overworking and feeling like you have to be on top all the time and overachieving. And that, for me, was my fear. It was like, okay, my mom is gone. I need to make her proud. I need to take care of myself. But
survival mode.
Yes, but at nighttime, I would cry. Trying to accomplish all of these things, I was crying because I was hurting inside. And so I had to learn how to healthily heal. And that started with breaking my fear ceiling and going after the things that I truly wanted to achieve in life, because I've always been an ambitious woman. I've always had dreams and aspirations that I wanted to achieve, but it was just that setback that was really stopping me from stepping into my best self. And so once I believed in myself, because it's truly about confidence within, I have traveled the world. I have served in different roles, walked up the management journey in healthcare. That's my formal training. I trained in health management and administration, worked in private practices, then to hospitals, program management. It really transformed how healthcare entities in New York City operated and delivered healthcare services. And from there, I was like, okay, I'm really passionate about global health. I lived in Nigeria for a year, and my dad was...
Wait, hold on. We're not going to skip over that part,
Yes.
because for me, I heard you talk about best of both worlds.
Yes.
Your mom is African-American, your
Yes.
dad is Nigerian, and then you now lived
Yes.
in Nigeria.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about what that experience was like, what that meant for your journey.
That was
your
definitely
growth.
a culture shock. I've traveled to Nigeria from when I was young. Like since the age of 2, my dad made it his mission to always take my brother and I, and then later on my additional siblings, to Nigeria to know our home, because he always said that that's your home. But living in Nigeria and visiting in Nigeria is two separate things. And unfortunately, at the time, my dad was running and he was doing campaign because he was into politics. And that allowed me to see the true beauty of Nigeria. It showed me what type of people we really are. Outside of what the media shares about Africans, particularly Nigerians, you see that we're destitute and in poverty. I saw the true gem in Nigeria by living there. And yes, we do have hardship in Nigeria, but what impressed me was the hope that people had to see another day, where even it's just they don't know where it's coming from, right?
Absolutely.
Imagine not being paid. I know if I'm not paid, I'm upset. You're in your feelings. But in Nigeria, it was a matter of, okay, I have hope because it's better to have a job that doesn't pay me than to have nothing at all. And when I heard so many different stories and saw my dad, speaking to different organizations, I always saw that they kind of left out the youth. It was like, we are the next generation of leaders.
Absolutely.
Why is it we're not included in the conversation? And so I was like, okay, I started having conversations with them, and those conversations led into them showing me, I was in Edo State, okay? So we went to different areas of Edo State, places where it was city, village, and in my mind, it just was a humbling moment. It's like, oh, you're truly blessed. You can wake up in the morning and you have clean water, you have AC, you can go as you like. Your dad make sure that you're taken care of. But he also showed me the side of where he came from and what it's like to be an immigrant in America.
So right there, your dad, immigrant, meeting your mom, who is, of African-American descent.
Yes.
Talk to me about the identity piece. Because I feel like because you have the best of both worlds,
Yes.
there's a little bit of maybe identity crisis. I don't know how to quantify it,
Yes.
but I can only imagine, being in your shoes, basically being that Nigerian-American,
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the identity piece.
For me, I've always been proud of being an African because that's what my parents instilled in me. I had no room to be ashamed of who I am. Like from very early on, both my parents is like, this is your name. There's no short version of your name. People are to address you this way. And I held on to that. It was a level of, okay, I'm Nigerian.
Confidence.
And at the time,
Yes.
it wasn't always cool. Like right now we have Afro beats. Everyone wants to be a part of Nigerian culture. But at that time, and when I was growing up, it wasn't something that people were proud of. But I've always had that sense of pride because it was just like I loved the culture. I would listen to Benin music when I was younger, and my mom, although she was African American, she was definitely embracive of the culture. And even down to our name, my dad was like, listen, my children are going to have Benin names, and she didn't contest that. She said, okay. He gave her a list with meanings. She picked the one that was easiest for her to say. And that is how you got Orobosa Owie, which means...
So I was going to say, tell us what it means.
So Orobosa means I'm in God's hands.
Wow.
My middle name is Imade, so I will never fall. And my last name, Owie, is in the morning. And so I'm in God's hands, I will never fall in the morning.
Ooh, I love that.
And, with such a name like that, how can you live life ashamed of who you are? Of course, as a woman, you go through different stages of just trying to figure out, okay, how you're perceived by members of society. But in my household, it was always like, you are the best. You are a queen. You are valued. That you are loved. And I think for many women, when you're searching for love, you don't know what that really looks like when you never experienced it. But growing up, I experienced love. I experienced that you are Nigerian, and don't be ashamed of that. If they can say all types of different names, then they can say your name. And I used that to my advantage because I felt like it was an opportunity not only for me to be seen, but also heard.
Yeah, I was going to say, there are a lot of people that may be watching this, that may be in your shoes, and they may not be as confident. Can you tell them one thing that has helped you through this journey of balancing both worlds?
I think in my younger self, it was just the drive to succeed. But as I am here in the 30s, right, I will just tell you it's God. God gives me the confidence. I'm anchored in his word. He reassures me. And if for those of you who, in whatever God you believe in, right, because you believe what you like, right? God has shown me that there's plenty of times where he's been the only one on my side. And he's led me to people just like you. I'm here because he knew that these are the things that I need to do to align myself for the purpose that he has for me. And when I've really tapped into like, okay, it is God that is my driving factor, you couldn't stop me because he's a powerful God. I don't have to be ashamed. He shows me that, hey, you are blessed. And so that's what drives me now. If you're not a believer in God, I would just say anchor yourself in the thing in the vision that you see for yourself. right? Anchor yourself in the things that make you happy. What does that look like? I think for many people, they say, I want to be happy. I want to have peace. I want different things of life. But what does that really look like for you? And once you are able to define what your happiness looks like, what peace looks like to you, what success looks like to you, what purpose, if you want to operate in purpose. Because not many people want to operate in purpose. They're just like, I'm here to live life. But whatever you aspire to be, really sit down and say, okay, what does that look like? And then do everything in your power, all of the activities to help you achieve that goal. That is the advice that I can give.
So powerful.
Any woman, because I'm not gender biased.
Yes.
Any individual who's just trying to find their identity in this life. Align yourself with the things that you find brings you joy.
Wow.
Because it's not always about money. Money is nice, don't get me wrong. But it's about what makes you get up the next day and say, I'm willing to do it again.
I heard a lot about impact, global reach, you know, empowering youth, and just walking boldly in your purpose. And I think it's so powerful, even how we connected. I feel like we connected through just purpose journey.
Yes.
And it's so powerful to even see, and even sitting here, I'm getting chills as you're talking, because it's so inspiring to see a woman that is so sure of herself, her identity, and just overall owning her purpose and the vision that God has given her. And I love what you talked about, anchoring your purpose.
Yes.
You know, talk a little bit about, what does that mean? Like, if somebody was like, okay, anchoring my purpose.
Yes.
I want to anchor my purpose. Talk a little bit about what that means.
The first thing is recognizing that you're flawed, right? That perfectionism is the enemy of your progress, right? That's the first thing. You have to recognize that you are flawed and that you're going to make mistakes. It's a part of human nature. But I've always told people that it's not about the mistake that you made, but how do you recover from that mistake? How do you move forward from that mistake? That is about finding your purpose. Your purpose is figuring out, okay, who am I as a person? What are the things that I enjoy? What makes me dissatisfied? Because we have to be realistic. Not every day is peaches and cream, right? You're going to go through things that really test who you are as a human being, right? But when you find that, okay, I am flawed, and you own it, and you step in and you start to put I am and associate words that you feel best aligns with your personality, I believe that's when you start to work in purpose. And you align yourself with like-minded professionals, but also professionals who don't think like you. And you can understand their perception, and still say, you know what, I respect your opinion. These are my thoughts, right? But I don't think of less of you as a person because you think that way.
Ooh, y'all, I'm like, when I tell you guys, I'm so full, and this conversation definitely hits home for me. But we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to talk all about her new book. And I definitely want to kind of get into more about her journey and her purpose journey. So we will be right back. So stay tuned.
Hey, Lincoln Power family. I am Dr. Orobosa Owie, and I just wrapped up an amazing episode with Nimi Bello and the Link Empower team. In this episode, we talked about my journey in becoming Dr. O, as well as the mission and vision behind the publishing of my first book, which is titled Be Bold, Be Confident, Be You, a motivational guidebook for shattering the fear ceiling. But also in this episode, we shared a big secret, but I'm here to give you firsthand insight on what that secret is. The secret is that I'll be serving as the host for this year's 2022 Lincoln Power Business Conference. That's right. I'm your host, and I want to take this time to encourage you to attend. So if you are an ambitious, multi-passionate, and purpose-driven professional looking for ways on how you can thrive in your business in 2022, this conference is for you. So head over to their website and purchase a ticket at lincolnpower.com. And also this Friday, tune into my episode, which will be aired on YouTube on January 14th. Watch the episode, like it, put a comment, and share. I promise I'm going to give you some words of advice to help you really level up on purpose in 2022. So I hope to see you at the conference, and I look forward to connecting with you on YouTube.
Welcome back to Let's Link Up. You've heard Orobosa talk a lot about her journey, identity, being a Nigerian-American, and just walking boldly in her purpose. So coming back now, we're going to get into talking about her book, Be Bold, Be Confident, Be You. So the title.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
It was something that I dreamt about. Many people were playing with the term of be something at the time when I was kind of brainstorming, like, okay, I'm going to write out something, right? It started off as motivational quotes because if you follow me on Instagram, one of my core things is that I'm going to say things to empower you, right? I'm all about that positive energy. It doesn't mean that I'm not a human, right? And things doesn't bother me, but I find that what you emit is what you receive. And so I wanted to push out positivity and with the expectation that I would receive it back. And so at the time, I was kind of playing with the idea of motivational quotes, and I was just like, you hear people say, be bold, be joyful. And I was like, okay, well, be bold, be confident, be you. And as I started thinking about starting writing my story, because I was very afraid to kind of share that kind of personal aspect of me with people, because many people know me as a professional. They know okay, this girl, she's always about her business. She's always about excelling in the professional realm, that I wanted people to also know that I'm human and that I've been through some things that really shape the boss that you see each and every day. When I show up as myself, it's because I'm at a space where it's like, hey, there's nothing that you can do to break me. And I think for many people, once you get to that place in life where you're like, listen, there's nothing that you can do to break me. You have to accept me for who I am. Absolutely. This is it. Now, if you like me, that's your personal preference. But you have to accept that this is who I'm showing up and this is the person I am. And I started just writing it out, and I was like, okay, the concept of the fear ceiling, and I really just started playing with that and started to because I'm a researcher at heart, and really trying to define what that concept truly means. And I shared it with my close circle of friends and 2 mentors, and they was like, this is brilliant. And I was like, well.
So is this going to be a continuation, I'm assuming, or this is more of a guide for, like you said, motivation, kind of shattering the fear ceiling?
Absolutely. It's a continuation because I think personal development is lifelong.
Absolutely.
Many people focus on professional development, but you have to be the person behind the professional, And so I think for me, this is truly where I think God is calling me to operate, right? Of course, there's many facets of me, right, as a professional, but this is near and dear to my heart. Yeah, and I never thought I was going to publish a book about my personal story. I was like, I'm going to do a textbook because I was in academia. I was like, and this is how you get the big dollars as a professor. You write a textbook, and God just put it on my heart to say, hey, release your story. And once I got past that, okay, I'm going to release this story, he started to align me with people who also was like, this is brilliant. It's a book that I don't want to stop reading until I'm finished the entire book. And many people were like, wow, you went through these things, because when I see you, I never think that you went through death. I never think that you had issues with your self-esteem. Because you always presented yourself so confident. And I had to teach people that fear and challenges or issues with self-esteem is not one-folded. You can show up each and every day on camera, in your workplace, at home, one person. But then behind closed doors, it's a different story. And I wanted people, I think for me, that was the freeing part, to tell my story, because I no longer wanted to be trapped by the things that hurt me.
Wow. So it's really, really, again, inspiring to see a woman, like myself, writing a book so powerful and so meaningful and definitely needed. I know there may be little girls, watching this, who are just like you, a Nigerian-American, trying to shatter, the fear ceiling, like you mentioned. And these 3 words, just talk about, where did the inspiration come from? You talked a lot about your journey, your background, and also being a professor and being in the healthcare space. So talk a little bit about the process, so to speak, of writing this book.
Yes, the process is just about honoring my mom. I always wanted to do something that honored her, what she truly meant to me. She was my everything. My confidant, my best friend, the person where if nobody else believed in me, she was my champion. And growing up in middle school and high school, I used to do performing arts. And I was not your traditional performer. I had curves. I had, different, growing up as a Black girl, and I remember just going to different performances and just shining, because I was just at a place where I'm operating from the confidence that my mom says that I am, I remember a guy, he was like, "Oh, you're ugly." And I came home and I started crying.
He said that?
Yes. And I came home crying to my mother, and she was like, "First of all, hey, I don't produce ugly children."
That's right.
Right. And if you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you believe you're ugly? I'm like, "No, I've never heard that before." And she said, "Just because he's projecting an insecurity on you doesn't mean you have to embrace it." And from there, I was like, "Oh, okay. This is how we got to operate in life." I remember, because I was very reserved, because I was always observing people. So before I inserted myself in a situation, I would just kind of see how you are. And I don't know if that's a New Yorker thing, but we're very observatory type of people, where it's like, I don't know how you move. I got to watch you to see if you're cool.
Nah. No, that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
And so she found a lot of times that I was always like the reserved side. And because I was reserved and because I was trying to monitor, people would try to do things to really just take advantage. I remember playing jump rope, and I had the rope because my dad was in technology. He's like building computers, so he had the best cable cords. And I would come to the play yard, and everybody would take my rope and play, but I'm not getting any turns. And I will never forget this day. My mom, she had red nail polish, red lipstick. She had dropped me off, but she was in the cut watching. And she just saw how things were happening. She came and she snatched the rope. And she said, "Hey, this is her rope. She chooses who is going to play."
That's right.
And for me, it was like, oh. And so her presenting as a strong African-American woman, someone who, she had a very amicable relationship with my father. It taught me so much life principles, even at the tender age of 15, and those principles, I still hold on to it, of the woman that I continue to work to be. I will never be her. Right? But she was a great example. And it doesn't mean that you have to have a role model in your life for long periods of time to create impact. And so for there, I always would think like, okay, how does Rosella Owie want me to operate in life?
I love that. Yeah. So powerful.
Yeah.
And you talk about creating impacts.
Yes.
So since we're on the topic of impacts,
yes,
I think there's a little secret that we actually have to share. Yes. Do you want me to tell them, or are you going to tell them?
No, you have to tell them. You are the brilliance behind the idea. So you have to go ahead and take that moment to share.
Okay, guys. So you're hearing it here first. Lincoln Power is going to be having our Global Edition Business Conference. So this year, we're actually going to be going virtual. And I'm so honored to announce that our amazing host will be none other than this super powerhouse over here. So
me? No.
Talk a little bit. Yeah, I'm so excited about this opportunity and just even the connection. And I just kind of want you to talk more about when we talk about global impact and just being a change agent.
Yes.
What does that even signify for you?
Being a change agent is really important to me because I am a woman who has been exposed to different cultures and different people and professionals from all walks of life. And what I find when you are a change agent, you come with the story, but you also come with the motivation and the willpower to create some type of change. And many people are like, oh, do we really need change? Do we really need motivation? You do. You do. You need inspiration. You need to see representation.
Yes.
And that is, I'm a big proponent of that, especially working in different environments where I was the only Black woman in the room. And I was the only young Black woman in the room.
Yes.
And being misconstrued for being a secretary or intern, which I have never been those titles. I've always started.
And the thing is, there's no shade. Like, there's nothing wrong with those things.
Nothing wrong.
I feel like we have to get comfortable with owning our position.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Absolutely. I didn't have to start where many people are like, oh, I started from the bottom to get to the top. No,
Right.
God put me at management and leadership from the very start of my career. And I have been able to navigate organizations, and I've navigated systematic racism from my doctorate program, working in places where I was not only coming as a Black woman, but with a woman with an African name. And so on paper, you see this whole African name, Nigerian name, and you think that I have an accent, which is nothing wrong with the accent, right? But you have so many different types of conceptions of me.
Right.
And then when you meet me, now you're like, oh, that's you? Oh, and then when now you speak to me, you see that, yes, I know my stuff.
She's a boss. Like, she's a boss.
Thank
like
you.
You guys can, so respect her respectfully, okay?
Yes.
As such. And those things are okay. You know, I
Yes.
feel like it's really inspiring, and I wish that every little Black girl out there that's watching this draws inspiration from this,
Yes.
because you are an inspiration.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
thank
you've
you.
written a book,
Thank you.
professor, about to
Thank
host
you.
this conference, and I
Yes.
definitely want to definitely even tell you guys about how you can definitely link up with us at this
Yes.
conference. So visit lincolnpower.com. Again, this is our Global Edition virtual conference. It's going to be 2 days. All the information will be on our website. We'll be focusing on connecting, growing, and scaling. But our overall mission and vision with this conference is to connect and empower global agents around the globe.
Yes.
So, Orobosa, before you leave,
Yes.
please tell our audience how they can link up and how they can connect with you, and even where they can even get this amazing book.
Absolutely. So first things first, to your conference, I want you to register with an open mind.
Yes.
Right? I don't want you to feel like this is any other business conference and that they're not going to share powerful information that can really reshape your trajectory in your career. Right. Nimi has put so much work in her team. I've been behind the scenes to hear some of the meetings, and they're really putting their all into this conference. So they need attendees to come in who have the open-mindedness and also want to strive into their success.
Absolutely.
Now, where you can find me, so I'm on Instagram at Orobosa_leads, so ORO, B like boy, OSA _leads. I also have a website at Orobosa Aware, so Orobosa, my first name and last name.com. My book is available on all publishing houses, so like Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, A Million Books, any place where you can order the book online. Also, if you just go to my website, you also can just click the link and it'll take you to the Amazon hub because you get it faster. So if you have Prime, you can get the book within a day or two. I encourage that. All right. And then as you read the book, feel free to just connect with me. I am an open book and a humble person. So just because I've achieved all of those things in life, I'm still learning and I'm still always open to meeting people. So don't be afraid or shy to say hi.
Yes, I love it. And like she said, be sure to check out her book. Again, be bold, be confident, be you. Again, I'm so excited and honored to be having this amazing boss lady, yes, she's a boss, hosting our virtual Business Edition conference. And like she said, be sure to link up with her, check out her book, purchase a ticket to the conference. We plug it in.
Yes.
But definitely link up with us, Lincoln Power, on all social platforms at Lincoln Power. Again, thank you so much
Yes,
for
I have
sharing your
one
journey.
more surprise.
Yes.
For all conference attendees, I will
Yes.
give them 15% off the book. So that's literally like $5.
Oh, wow.
For the book. And so we'll create a code.
Yes.
And it definitely kind of really inspire you to come because this conference is full of value.
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the plug.
Thank
I'm
you.
even, you know what? Are you going to sign my book?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Again, thank you so much for linking up with us. Amazing story. And just, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Inspired by your journey.
Thank you.
And I just look forward to an amazing conference. I know you're going to do amazing things.
Yes.
Not even just for the conference alone. I know that you're going to kill it.
Yes.
And I'm just looking forward to your purpose journey and looking forward to us nurturing our relationship outside of just business. You know, I feel like the first time we met, we just connected on a business level.
Yes, we did.
Which was amazing. And I feel like just thinking about the mission and vision of what Link Empower is about, which is all about linking and empowering women all over the globe. And I'm just so excited and so proud of how much my team and I have invested our time, resources into giving you guys the best of the best. So definitely link up with us, like we said, at the Link Up Business Edition, focusing on connecting, growing, and scaling. Also, we are looking for all global change agents to come and link up and connect with us too as well. We have an amazing lineup of speakers, panelists, and just 2 days action-packed that is definitely going to set your 2022 for success.
Absolutely.
So again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Looking
I'm proud
forward,
of you too.
Yes,
I'm
thank you
proud
so
of
much.
too.
Thank you so much. And again, connect with us at Link Empower on all social platforms. Thank you so much, and looking forward to seeing you at our next Link Up. Bye now.